Every year across the United States, flags are placed beside white headstones. Names are read out loud. Bugles sound, and for a moment, a nation pauses. Not to celebrate war, not to glorify violence, but to remember the dead. Because Memorial Day was born from something deeply human, the belief that sacrifice should never be forgotten. And here in the United States, remembering the fallen has become part of our national identity. The generation that founded the United States had watched free governments fail before. To them, liberty was not normal. It was rare, fragile, and difficult to keep. That is why John Adams wrote plainly, "Liberty must, at all hazards, be supported." Not because America loved war, but because they believed some things could be lost if no one was willing to defend them. Before Memorial Day had a name, America had graves. From the battles of Lexington and Concord onward, Americans understood that liberty carried a cost. Young men buried far from the towns where they grew up. Letters that stopped arriving. Families waiting for sons who would never return home. From shallow graves outside Boston to the fields of the Battle of Gettysburg, to crosses overlooking the beaches of Normandy landings, the cost of war became part of the American story. But no conflict shaped Memorial Day more deeply than the American Civil War. More than 600,000 Americans died. Entire towns lost generations of young men. The country faced a question larger than victory or defeat. What did the living owe the dead? In the years after the Civil War, grieving families began gathering in cemeteries each spring. They brought flowers. They cleaned neglected graves. Some sang hymns beside rows of fallen soldiers. In many places, communities still divided by war gathered in quiet remembrance. Out of that mourning came a new American tradition. In 1868, General John A. Logan, leader of the Grand Army of the Republic, called for a national day to decorate the graves of the war dead. It became known as Decoration Day. The first national observance took place at Arlington National Cemetery. Thousands gathered among the graves. Children carried flowers between the headstones. Veterans stood silently beside fallen comrades. Ministers offered prayers. The purpose was not triumph, it was remembrance. The nation was trying to ensure that sacrifice would outlive memory. Over time, Decoration Day evolved. What began as remembrance for Civil War soldiers gradually expanded to honor Americans lost in all wars. After World War I, then World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, and the wars of the modern era, the meaning of the day widened. In 1971, Memorial Day officially became a federal holiday, observed on the last Monday in May. But its purpose remained unchanged: to remember those who died in service to the country. Not veterans generally, not military achievement alone. The fallen. Long before Memorial Day existed, Americans had already attached deep meaning to demonstrated perseverance during war. During the War of 1812, British warships bombarded Fort McHenry through the night. Famous lawyer and theologian Francis Scott Key kept an anxious watch, desperate to know whether his countrymen had survived the onslaught. Smoke and darkness covered the ramparts until the dawn's early light. Yet the firepower of the ships, the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, these gave him proof through the night that our flag was still there. That trying moment inspired the Star-Spangled Banner. But the power of that image was never merely the flag itself. It was what the flag represented. Perseverance, sacrifice, and people willing to suffer to preserve liberty. Memorial Day carries the same ideal forward, because every small flag placed beside a grave represents someone who once stood to defend it. Modern life rarely slows down for reflection. Traffic continues, stores remain crowded, phones keep buzzing. And yet, once each year, Americans still gather in cemeteries, place flowers beside graves, and stand in silence for people they never met. That tradition itself is remarkable. Memorial Day asks Americans to remember something easy to forget: that freedom is inherited long before it's experienced. Every generation benefits from sacrifices they did not personally make. And every generation must decide whether those sacrifices will still be remembered. A free people must remember, not because remembering changes the past, but because forgetting changes us. Memorial Day is not ultimately about war. It is about gratitude. It is about memory. And it is about recognizing that throughout American history, ordinary men and women gave their lives for something larger than themselves. Names are spoken, and a nation pauses to remember the fallen. This is part of the story of America's 250 years.
Like, follow, and subscribe to the National Character Association on YouTube, and watch our many historical videos about the causes of the American Revolution, the principles, the values behind the freedoms that we enjoy today.